Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that is the foundation of all law, jurisprudence. If you've ever found law confusing or wondered what law really is, this video is for you. We're going to break down the definition, nature, and value of jurisprudence in a way that's simple and easy to understand. Let's get started. First, where does the word even come from? Jurisprudence comes from the Latin word jurisprudentia, which literally means knowledge of law or skill in law. Now, here's a fun fact. Back in the day, the word jurisprudence was used like a suffix for all sorts of new sciences. You had medical jurisprudence, chemical jurisprudence, even social jurisprudence. It was a fancy way of saying the philosophy of that subject. But over time, it settled down and became exclusively about the study of law itself. And this leads us to the biggest challenge in this field. No one can agree on a single definition. It's like trying to define art or love. Every great legal thinker has their own perspective. So, when we look at definitions, we're not looking for one right answer but a spectrum of ideas. Let's go way back to the Romans. Jurist Ulpian defined jurisprudence as the knowledge of things divine and human, the science of the just and unjust. Sounds grand, right? But the problem is it mixes up divine law, the laws of God or nature, with human-made law. Modern critics say this is too broad and vague. Another Roman, Paulus, said, "Jurisprudence is the law, and the law is not to be deduced from the rule, but the rule from the law." Honestly, that's a bit of a brain twister and even more confusing. So, while these were starting points, they didn't quite hit the mark for the modern world. Now enter John Austin, a hugely influential jurist. He gave us a much stricter, no-nonsense definition. For Austin, jurisprudence is the science of positive law. That means the law as it is, not as it ought to be. He didn't care if a law was good or bad, moral or immoral. If it was made by the sovereign, the supreme power like a king or parliament, and it was backed by a punishment or a sanction, it was law. It was a command. He also split jurisprudence into two types. A general jurisprudence. This is the study of ideas and principles common to all mature legal systems around the world. Think of concepts like duty or right. They exist everywhere. A particular jurisprudence. This is the study of one specific legal system, like Hindu law or the law of ancient Rome. This was a very clean, logical way to look at things, but as we'll see, not everyone agreed. Next up is Salmond. He defined jurisprudence as the science of the first principles of the civil law. In simple terms, he saw it as the study of the fundamental ideas that underpin the law of the land. He also had a useful way of breaking it down. He said we can look at jurisprudence in two ways: the whole body of law, or more specifically, as the philosophy of law. This specific sense he divided into three branches. 1. Analytical jurisprudence. This is like dissecting the law. It asks, what is a right? What is ownership? It analyzes the structure of legal concepts. This is very similar to Austin's approach. 2. Historical jurisprudence. This looks at how law evolved. How did our modern ideas of contract come from ancient practices? It's the history of law. 3. Ethical jurisprudence. This is the ought to be that Austin rejected. It deals with the ideal law, the law of our dreams, what is just fair and right. Salmond himself focused on the analytical part, but admitted you can't ignore history and ethics completely. Let's quickly look at a few other key definitions to round out the picture. Holland called it the formal science of positive law. The key word here is formal. Think of it like grammar. Grammar doesn't care what you're writing about, a love letter or a shopping list. It only cares about the structure, nouns, verbs, sentences. Similarly, Holland said jurisprudence studies the form and structure of all legal systems, not the specific content of, say, Indian or American law. Pound focused on the courts, calling it the science of principles that courts recognize and enforce. Keaton had a simple, straightforward definition. It's the study and systematic arrangement of the general principles of law. So you can see, everyone has a slightly different angle. So what is the nature of this subject? Is it a science? Well, yes, but it's a social science. One jurist, Wurzus, even called it the social science first of its kind ever born. It studies human society and its institutions. Remember Holland's definition? He called it a formal science. This is a crucial point. Jurisprudence is not like chemistry or physics. It doesn't do experiments in a lab. It's a science of forms, concepts, and structures. It gives you the toolbox of legal ideas like possession, liability, legal personality. But it doesn't tell you the specific rules for possessing land or forming a company. That's the job of specific laws. It's also important to know that jurisprudence is not a practical code. You can't go to court and cite jurisprudence. It's not the penal code or the Constitution. It's the theoretical backbone that supports all of those practical documents. If you think jurisprudence is just for lawyers, think again. Its scope is incredibly wide. This is what makes it so fascinating. Jurisprudence is the bridge that connects law to every other important discipline. It asks questions like 1. How does the law affect society? That's sociology. 2. How do economic principles shape property laws? That's economics. 3. What is the relationship between law and state power? That's political science. 4. What is justice? That's philosophy. 5. How have our legal ideas developed over time? That's history. So jurisprudence doesn't live in an ivory tower. It places the law into a wider social context, helping us understand that law isn't just a set of rules, but a living, breathing part of our world. Okay, so it's abstract and philosophical, but is it actually useful? Absolutely. Let's talk about its value. First, it has intrinsic interest. Just like a mathematician might explore a complex theory that has no immediate use, jurists explore legal ideas for the sake of knowledge itself. This pure research can later lead to groundbreaking new theories. Second, it's incredibly practical for lawyers. Studying jurisprudence sharpens your mind. It improves your logical techniques and helps you construct better arguments. As one jurist Sewer said, it makes the complex mass of law more manageable and rational. Most importantly, theory helps to improve practice. Understanding the why behind the law makes you a much better practitioner of the how. This is one of its biggest benefits. Jurisprudence is the ultimate tool for analysis and clarification. The law is full of overlapping and confusing concepts. What exactly is a right? How is possession different from ownership? What do we mean by intention or negligence? These concepts appear in criminal law, contract law, and property law, all with slight differences. Jurisprudence steps back, analyzes all of them, and builds a clear, comprehensive picture of each concept. It's like a philosopher for the law, reflecting on the rules we already have and clarifying them. This helps judges, lawyers, and lawmakers avoid confusion and be much more precise. Finally, jurisprudence is essential for progress. It helps the law evolve. The great jurist Salmon put it perfectly. He said jurisprudence teaches lawyers to look sideways and around them, to realize that the answers to new legal problems, like those about AI or internet privacy, must be found by considering present social needs, not just by blindly following the distilled wisdom of the past. Jurists are the ones who can look at social evils and evolve new theories to fix them. Because of this, research in jurisprudence doesn't just stay in books. It has re-echoes on the whole of legal, political, and social thought. It shapes our entire society. So let's bring it all together. Point 1. Definition. Jurisprudence is the science and philosophy of law. It has no single definition, but encompasses everything from Austin's commands to Salmon's first principles and Holland's formal structures. Point 2. Nature. It's a formal social science that is theoretical and abstract, but also deeply connected to other disciplines, giving law its wider context. Point 3. Value. It is indispensable. It sharpens legal minds, clarifies fundamental concepts, and most importantly, it provides the tools we need to make the law a rational, manageable, and progressive force for society. It is, in many ways, the mind and conscience of the law. I hope this deep dive demystified jurisprudence for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content where we break down complex topics simply. Let me know in the comments what legal concept you'd like us to explore next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.